What's up, everybody? It's Hey John. I jabber opportunities nonstop. And in today's video, I'll be discussing Bitcoin's meteoric rise, Dogecoin's meteoric rise. I'll be discussing Janet Yellen and our take of the economy and how we are heading towards a recession for the stock market and the United States of America's economy. And I will be covering natural gas and its impacts. Let's go. So today, Bitcoin is rising to over $50,000. Holy moly. We haven't seen that since September and October of last. Woo, my God. This is phenomenal, folks. I will be covering the charts, but I just want to go that real quick, though. The next thing to note here is Janet Yellen here. And why is this significant? Well, Janet Yellen is talking. And when she talks, she moves markets in the stock world. So people still pay attention to her. Of course, that role has transitioned to Jay Powell, but it doesn't matter because we all remember Janet Yellen and she's back now. With that being said, Janet Yellen has set a date of October 18. If the U.S. government, the Congress, and the Senate cannot get their act together and pay their bills, that'll be catastrophic for the U.S. economy, and we will see a recession due to it. And this is a quote-unquote from what Janet Yellen said. So this is actually very breaking news, folks, because if this happens, and it could potentially happen, that means that we could see the stock market sink. We could see seniors not get their money they need. We won't see services being rendered to these folks. Families with child tax credits will not get their child tax credits. And so on and so forth, and you can get the idea of this tumbling effect here. And most importantly, if the U.S. government does not pay their debt, then guess what? The world's reserve currency is the U.S. dollar. If the U.S. government does not pay their bills and increase the debt ceiling, then that means that the U.S. government, United States of America, will have their reputation tarnished forever because these asset classes are the safest in the world. So if the government doesn't pay it, then they're saying US of A is on a downhill spiral and they can no longer be trusted. With that being said, though, I do not believe that this will happen because raising the debt ceiling has happened year after year after year after year ever since the post-war. So there's no reason for me to believe that this will not happen now. It's always the same kind of song and dance here, right? And every time it's been approved with bipartisan support. But this time they're kind of saying, yeah, it's all on you guys to do it, instead of just being together and both sides coming together and do it. So I don't want to say left and right. I don't want to take any sides. So that being said, I still believe that they will come together last minute and they will raise the debt ceiling and we will maintain the US of A's good reputation because it affects both sides and it behooves both sides to come together and raise the debt ceiling because it benefits both sides. Nobody benefits if you're an American citizen if the government does not pay their debt. And I am inclined to believe that they will. It's a matter of when and not if, in my opinion. But of course, worst case scenario, if it does not happen, then what I said earlier could happen. And that's no bueno. We don't want to see any more social unrest. We don't need any more of that stuff. We've just come through a pandemic. We're still going through it. We don't need any more unknown balls in the court. With that being said, we're seeing Fantasia. You think, hey, John, what's Fantasia? Well, Fantasia is another property real estate giant in, guess what? China. And they are right behind, of course, Evergrande. Evergrande still hasn't made any payments. And Fantasia has missed a payment of $205 million on one of their bond payments. And this is quite significant because now you're seeing on the news headlines, oh, billionaires are coming in to help these companies like Fantasia, Evergrande, etc. But you have to wonder, right? I mean, a little cynical here, but how did these billionaires become billionaires? Did they become billionaires by being someone's friend? Did they become billionaires by playing nice? I would say no. So I believe they're here to get a good deal, and they're sharks, they're predators, and they want to pay pennies on the dollar for those amazing assets. And they are amazing assets, but currently overvalued, overpriced. Therefore, and henceforth, they are not able to make their payments. And of course, these billionaires will capitalize and therefore increase their wealth and further divide the wealth gap in the world. Dogecoin is also skyrocketing as well, and I will be covering those charts as well today, including Bitcoin. And another thing to note here is that natural gas is flying off the charts. Ladies and gentlemen, I will be covering that chart as well to explain to you why natural gas is such a huge opportunity, huge play coming. And we all know, well, some folks know that global warming is a real thing here, and we will probably see a colder cold and a hotter hot. So what does that mean? When you see global warming, we're seeing colder winters and hotter summers. It is as simple as that. If you've seen the news, California has seen nonstop wildfires. The whole west coast of the United States of America has seen nonstop fires throughout the summer season and the fall season. It's just been ridiculous. And we're seeing droughts all over the place. So when folks tell me global warming is not true, well, I say to you, watch the news, buddy. It's there. And if you think someone's making it up, then alrighty then. Let's go ahead and get into those charts then, huh? Well, here are the Bitcoin charts. When I covered it a few days ago, I was sharing with you folks, hey, guess what? We are seeing the 50-day moving average starting to curl up. And I was saying, hey, folks, that's going to be your temporary support. And guess what? It happened to a T. Bitcoin is using that as a baseline to pop up and use it as a support. We have broken the downward trend line, and we're now breaking up with a strong Mandingo candlestick. And now we're using a 50 MA as a support line. Fantastic. So the support is currently at around $47,000. That's kind of the place in around there. It's going to be your jump off point for Bitcoin. The next resistance is going to be, I would say, at around $50,000. Okay, let me go ahead and draw for you guys real quick so I can show you guys what I'm talking about, so no one thinks I'm making stuff up here. So 50,722 is going to be your next resistance. I do believe we can break it because we've broken it out on February 17 and March 7. We did it twice, and then we broke down on April 23rd, but that was kind of a joke, and it bounced back up. And then we broke down on May 12th, and we never came back until literally September 4th. So now we're seeing another bounce towards the 50,000 mark here. And I believe that it's very possible that we will go through this sooner rather than later. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to say it right now. Anywhere around 50,722, anywhere at around there is going to be your current resistance. But I can foresee in the near term future, that's going to be your new support line. Because there are reports saying that over 80% of Bitcoin hodlers are long-termers, and they've held it for a long time already. So what does that mean? That means only 20% of the supply of Bitcoins are actually being traded. And there are 19 million Bitcoins currently in supply, and there's 2 million more to be mined, because there's a total volume of 21 million Bitcoins total that can be mined in all of its entirety. With that being said, you're trading a very small float, so I would say it is easier to push the price up. And now we're seeing bigger players and countries jump into the market here. So I see no reason for Bitcoin to come down. I see only more reason for it to go up, because as other countries adopt Bitcoin as their currency, then guess what? The Bitcoin supply will dwindle some more. There will be more bought, and guess what? And that means that the Bitcoin price will naturally have to go up because of supply and demand. You've seen it right now with our supply crisis in America, in the world, because of shipping containers being stuck at ports and all that fun stuff. Let me go ahead and pull up the Dogecoin charts and go over that as well to see what is going on. Dogecoin, my beloved love. I haven't covered this in some time because it hasn't been doing anything, but now it's doing something, so let's cover it. So we can see here with my downward trend line I drew a long time ago, we finally broke the downward trend line on September 30th, 2021. It confirmed for a few days at around 22 cents and it broke up above it currently yesterday. And today, whew, it is doing phenomenal. It's currently at 25.90 as of this recording, and the resistance is around 29 cents. The last time we broke 29 cents, guess what? That was around August 14, 2021. So I would say about, 6 weeks or 2 months ago, around there. And now we are going back to test it again. This means that we want to test 29.08 again. And I believe that when Dogecoin gets at around 29 cents, you're going to see a little sell-off because people are want to take profits from around 19 cents because they made a 10-cent profit and they want to take some because, well, as I always say, there is no shame in taking profits. So that being said here, we're seeing a little difference here between Bitcoin and Dogecoin charts. On a Bitcoin chart, you can see the 50-day moving average acting as a support and a bounce off zone. In Dogecoin's case here, the 50 MA is currently looking like a resistance. But as you know, Dogecoin usually trails behind Bitcoin a few days or a few weeks. So it's a little bit lagging behind it, and that's okay. That just means that you have opportunity to buy now and increase later. Because if you know that fact, then you know that you can position yourself for a better buying opportunity to make exponential profits. So in a sense, Bitcoin is kind of future, and then Dogecoin is kind of past behind Bitcoin for a few days or a few weeks sometimes, depending on how the markets react. So that being said, that's pretty cool. It's not always where you see a direct correlation between Bitcoin and Dogecoin. Sometimes there is a lagging effect. It's kind of strange, but it's just the nature of the markets. And now we're seeing the volume increase as well. So guess what? When you see volume increase for Dogecoin, and that means Dogecoin is going to the moon. Simple as that, folks. Simple as that. Because when you have more volumes, you have more traders, you have more liquidity. When you have more liquidity, guess what? You have more buying opportunities. Okay, folks, natural gas futures. As I've been saying for some time, I see huge opportunities here right now. Huge. We're seeing natural gas oversold right now, and it's still heading towards a higher high. So to me, there's way more upside coming, folks. It's a matter of when and not if, because there's going to be, not guaranteed, but very likely we'll have a colder winter because due to global warming here. Again, we're seeing hotter summers and colder winters. So there's no reason for me to believe that we will see a mild winter. Could it happen? Sure, absolutely. But the way the world's working currently, that is what it is, unfortunately. So currently we're seeing 616 here, and we're seeing a sort of nice upward pattern here. Beautiful, beautiful upward pattern, folks. It's a very strong supply here, right? And now we're seeing the Saudi prince saying, hey, you know what? I am not going to be increasing the supply, only gradually. But you're going to see more shale domestic suppliers, more Russian oil hit the markets, and more natural gas hit the markets because folks want to capitalize on these short-term gains. Because there is no shortage of natural gas in reality. There's a shortage of transportation and storage of it, though. But with that being said, though, I believe natural gas is going to go higher. And let me show you how high I believe it could potentially go. So again, we need to watch for this right here. Let me draw it real quick for you guys. Of course, it is history as well. We need to crack 650, okay? 650 is going to be one of your psychological supports right there. If we can break 650, then that means that natural gas can go way higher. If it goes way higher, then we're looking. The next resistance, I would say, is around $7.98 or $8 basically. And after that, whew, it is just off to the races, and you can literally just go buck wild with over here. You know what I mean? I mean, wow. We could potentially see another rally to possible, whoa, $15.78 potentially. That could happen. I wouldn't rule it out, but I also wouldn't bet on it either. I mean, because this is going to be a long-term play here if you're playing natural gas right here. But for me, I'm looking for a short position in natural gas because I know that natural gas cannot support this increasing price here, because once it cools off, it's going to pull down and everyone's going to produce because everyone wants to capitalize. And it's going to come back down. So that's kind of what I see for the short term and long term here. Short term, 650 is going to be your resistance. If it breaks through it, then look towards $8 as your next potential resistance. And I will look for a short position at 650, about $8 and $9.75. Around there is kind of where you want to look for a short position, because it just never, you know, if you look historically here for many, many years here, right? Over a decade, 2 decades here, it never sustains its high prices. It peaks and it comes back down almost immediately. You can see here, December, January peaked over here. February peaked over here. October through December peaked. And over here, March through June, it peaked. So usually it peaks during the winter. You see, 2014, it peaks again in winter. So it's very trendy here. It always peaks during winter. So right now, I'm gonna let it rise and let it keep on going and keep an eye on it. I'm not interested in making a short position right now because I would say it's too early for a short position because it's only October. I gotta see maybe November. I just see possibly around November, December-ish area, but I will keep an eye out though. And I want the thing to go to the moon because it's been so long for natural gas traders. They gotta make some money too, man. So I just wanted to cover that. And most importantly, folks, if you're a new viewer, please subscribe and like. And of course, most importantly, have an awesome day, and I will catch you on the next one.